All right, they are going to federal prison indeed, flying right over. That's the Ontario, understand that's the city of Ontario engaging in psychological torture, captured on while they fly right over the apartment, again with simultaneity to what I'm reviewing. I'm reviewing the video evidence showing the engineer light peeping through onto the wall from the peephole, capturing the evidence, speaking of the people here who are going to federal prison based on the city of Ontario sharing in psychological torture and criminal engagement using helicopters. That's the city of Ontario that Paul Leon is a part of, gang stalking with the demons who are gang members using helicopters to engage in gang stalking, and doing so while they fly over where the fake sun is stationary, idle, and while I'm on my phone. I understand that that's the psychological torture that the corrupt government who is indeed gang stalking and is engaged in federal stalking. All of the demons under the fake sun that's over the same roof, while engineer light is piercing through a peephole and is also appearing outside, such that engineer light is occurring underneath a covered structure onto the window. That's impossible light activity, especially while the sun is 3 hours ahead, supposedly over another state where you would see the sun outside of where you live, where your shadow is appearing upright on the building. All right, because this is where you have, I just want you to see engineer light all over. These are the identification of gang stalkers. And the demons that are already engaged in surveillance while they practice psychological torture, stalking with noise, every move, everything you're doing on your communication device, when your genitalia is exposed in the bathroom, the demons are already doing so on behalf of the state, who then flies over in helicopter as a desperate means of distraction, psychological torture, harassment, and terrorism, threatening your life and safety. That's why Mike Lorenz is going to be prosecuted as the terrorist leader that he is. The Ontario Police is going to be disbanded. Paul Leon, Alan D. Wapner, the Ontario International Airport, who was gang stalking under the fake sun as well, doing the same exact criminal tactics of obstruction of justice. The entire city, again, shutting down the airport, disbanding the police, removing the corrupt fire department because they're the same city engaged in the same criminal system, the same demon-possessed entity. This is because I'm exposing them. And this is, again, not limited to Ontario, California, where I'm exposing the system and I'm prosecuting the city. The city is in the shoes of the state that's practicing statewide domestic terrorism. All right, this is what LAPD were doing, and there's no sun that's over Alvarado Gardens that's reflecting off of the same living room window where it is at 9 o'clock in the morning, where it's not coincidental regarding what I'm looking at on my phone at the second I look at it, and the demons who are engaged in 24-hour surveillance with the demon-possessed who are all going to federal prison, all of them. What the state does, the people of the state do. Okay, and this is, again, where 2500 and 2900 airports, the terminals 2 and 4, there is no reconciling what is clear targeting. Southwest Airlines, Delta Airlines, American Airlines, United Airlines, Frontier Airlines, Spirit Airlines. You already know the gang stalkers who use their commercial vehicles are also using their commercial planes. FedEx, Amazon Prime, they're engaged in group gang stalking using commercial planes, and they're doing so in the specific environment where you're looking at light just manifesting in the shade everywhere. This is the environment inside of Tracy's apartment. Engineer light for purposes of gang stalking, which is demonic activity, and the demon-possessed provide evidence against each other. That's the state providing evidence against the people of the state, and the people of the state providing evidence against the state, as they are together one entity engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. And it is the removal of the corrupt demons who are sitting in office. It is the prosecution of those corrupt leaders, and is also the prosecution of the people of the state, the entity that's in the shoes of the state, maintaining criminal surveillance and tactics of psychological torture. While you have engineer light that's appearing, all right, out of nowhere. That's speaking to the light that's over here in the grass, okay, pointing out while they are flying over in helicopters and in airplanes, monitoring. And that's because I'm looking at video evidence that I'm going to publish on YouTube right now. Prosecution of AVANATH Capital Management, who was a documented gang stalker by virtue of this, which is happening on their property and through their employees and through their residents. They are criminally profiting off of what is state surveillance, which is the objective of to engage in malicious murder and kidnapping. AVANATH is being simultaneously exposed and documented. AVANATH is also a gang stalker in Orange County. Orange County is fully engaged in the state surveillance. They're already on the record. There's no sun that's going to be over the Costa Mesa Police Department during the 12 p.m. hour, daylight savings time or not, while it's sitting idle, as you see, from 9 a.m. until after what is 2, going on 3 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock on the dot, where the entity is capturing this specific environment. This is not shared with the Costa Mesa Police Department at all. This is, again, AVANATH Capital Management is already surrounded by evidence. I'm at one of their real properties. They have more than one. Woodside Senior Apartments is not the only crime scene where criminal surveillance is underway. They will not be participating in federal housing programs anymore. Neither will the defendants, who are all going to be prosecuted. This entire venue is going to be displaced, but this is just because I'm here. Understand the entire city is being prosecuted. The entity flies over by helicopter with a criminal intent to engage in psychological torture, threatening, harassment, intimidation of the entity that is indeed engaged in monitoring with the people of the state. They do so as a matter of a pattern, while they are indeed engaged in federal stalking under Title 18, Section 2261A, subsections 1 and 2. And they do so while you see the impossible light, the specific environment where a fake sun and engineer light is present. That's exactly what I'm capturing inside of the apartment, which is what I document while they maintain the environment inside of this apartment through amplified audible noise. When you're looking at, this is my shadow appearing on the blinds over here. This is speaking to engineer light, not sunlight, where surveillance is underway. Sex offenders that are being paid to engage in terrorism through the airport, sex offenders that are being paid to maintain terrorism through the police department. It's the same through the fire department, through the hospitals, the demons that drive ambulances. This is a citywide effort, and they're still gang stalking on Vine Avenue, driving an engineer light, monitoring. Okay, the entity isn't doing so on an ongoing basis, and this is again the elderly who are all going to be prosecuted. The impunity that you see exhibited through gang stalking through the neighborhood, walking in the engineer light, that's a sex offender that knows what's going on with my genitalia, and he's monitoring. And they do so with impunity, just like you see the police flying over in helicopter, threatening an ordinary target individual absent any evidence and no one to report it to, while they are seeking to murder. Understand, this is what Tracy Banks is acting in conformity to, while lying in courts with this same entity, while engaging in what is profiting off of the ultimate demise, which is not going to be accomplished. They're all going to be prosecuted and uprooted from the position that they hold. Okay, this is the entity, though, however, that is seeking to profit off of the demise, the murder and kidnapping, while they are gang stalking you. This is how that system works. Okay, you're looking at elements: fake sun, stalking by planes, Terminal 2, Terminal 4 is no position where you're hovering over the complex, and also that's not going to be amplified inside the apartment like I document on an ongoing basis. Pulling up in the environment, you see him doing the same thing under the fake sun at 9 o'clock in the morning. He's gang stalking still, and that's why he's going to federal prison. It is currently 3:03 p.m. That's the overweight Latino male. You've seen him gang stalking with Ontario Police, and that's what he's doing right now. He's doing it right now. The Ontario Police are monitoring. Units 33 through 64 are all going to federal prison. They're going to an asylum 55, and so is Tracy Banks. And all of these demons that can't pay their rent, they're engaged in state surveillance, they're all going to be displaced. And then none of them will be, for their criminal records, will be qualified to receive low-income housing, where state surveillance is underway amongst those that are receiving a means of welfare. These are demons who are pacing an engineer light. This is P.O.C. under a fake sun. This is the demon possessed receiving low-income housing benefits. This is P.O.C.